Hi. So it's my second night in Dublin, and I think that today I covered most of the city on foot. I'm pretty sure that a massage would feel really good right now for my feet. But, it was a beautiful day to get out and walk. It was absolutely stunning today. Perfect temperature, perfect mix of a little bit of clouds, a whole lot of sun. It was just gorgeous. But before I get into today, I want to answer a question that I got. This actually came through a social media question. And I was asked if Aer Lingus Business Class is worth the cost. So I just want to kind of preface this by saying I know business class isn't cheap, and not everybody can just say, oh, I'm going to travel business class. But I will say that when I can, I do splurge on it for overnight flights to Ireland. And there are a couple of big reasons I do that. The first is that when you book with Aer Lingus, you book by the leg. So you're not booking a complete round trip. So I could book just Chicago to Dublin and then book my second, book my trip back just in coach. So that significantly changes the cost. So booking just one part of it makes it more affordable for me. And secondly, Aer Lingus has an arrivals lounge in Dublin Airport that is absolutely spectacular. Because you get off of the plane first when you travel business class, your wait at immigration is quite a bit shorter. And so what I do is I get through immigration, I go straight to that arrivals lounge. It's quiet and peaceful. They have rooms for you with a shower or without. I go in there, I take a quick shower, I change clothes, I freshen up, I have a cup of tea, and then I go out and grab my luggage and leave the airport. So it's just a really terrific way to freshen up and kind of start your day in the same way you do at home, right? By following you brush your teeth and you do your hair and you clean off a little bit. So anyway, it makes it so nice. Now, of course, the food in business class is a level above what you receive in coach. The options are seasonal. There was lamb and salmon offered on my flight this time. And what they do, so they had two options. Well, in a way. Okay. So you can do like a full 3-course meal. So you have a starter and an entree and a dessert. And then they also offer what they call their express option, which is what I went with because I was tired and our flight had been delayed. But what it had was a lovely soup and a small salad and a dessert. So it was all there, but it just came to you all at once. You didn't have to wait on the different courses to come out, which was absolutely lovely. And of course, you have all the room, you lay flat, and it's just nice to travel with that much space. So, of course, like I said, it comes at a price. Often I can't justify the price, but I have a couple of tips. If you are planning to fly Aer Lingus, I have a couple of tips that you can use to look for those business class flights that maybe are not so, eye-wateringly expensive. Number one, monitor your flights. This is how I found the flight that I got on this trip. I was monitoring the flights. I knew the dates that I wanted to leave, but on the Aer Lingus site, you can look at like the days before and after. And by doing that, I found a business class flight that was actually a couple $1,000s less than the business class flights on the days before and after it. And I grabbed that. It meant that I was going to get to Dublin a day earlier than I had planned, but so worth it. And number two, Aer Lingus lets you bid on business class when you book a coach flight. So you book your flight, and then there's the option, if you go into your manage my flight, there's a option, I can't remember what it says, but it's something like upgrade my flight or something like that. And you place a bid on that flight. And then if there are seats available and your bid is accepted, you get upgraded. And I've had a really great luck with that, especially in the shoulder and the off seasons. So always worth trying that as well. If you want to see a few images from my flight, just to kind of see what business class was like on the flight I took, you can go ahead and click the show notes and pop over and take a look at those. All right, so Dublin, day 2. Did a lot of walking today. My hotel is in a terrific spot. It's just behind the Ivy Gardens, which are just off St. Stephen's Green. So it's very centrally located, and Kilronan House does a lovely breakfast, which was good that I ate a decent breakfast because I think I walked about 14 miles today. It is just lots and lots of walking. Dublin is so compact and easy to get around. My first stop was Trinity College. Now, I've been to the Book of Kells multiple times, but the reason I went today was for the old library. I absolutely love the long room, and I've seen it multiple times full of books. But because they're doing a thorough cleaning of the library right now, they are removing all the books. They're cleaning them, they're wrapping them, they're putting them away for storage. And my understanding is the library will be closing in October for about 3 years for that thorough cleaning. So I wanted to see it empty. And how does it look empty? It looks bigger. It is a vast, vast space, but it's just so strange to see these, because when you used to walk in there, it was just acres of books, right? Just books everywhere. And if you're a book person, you know what I mean when I say you could just smell the old books. It was just lovely. I love books, and it was like my idea of a happy place. So it's so vast with the books out of there. Now from there, I had to deliver some OPW cards to some tour guests who are coming in to explore Dublin prior to the tour. And just across from their hotel is the Garden of Remembrance. Now this is a place that a lot of people don't really know about. It's just kind of tucked on the edge of the city center of Dublin. And it's really just quiet and peaceful. It has this massive water feature in the middle that's shaped like a cross. And the garden is dedicated to the people who gave their lives for Irish freedom. At one far end, you have a statue of the children of Lear, which is a wonderful an Irish tale about children who were changed from human to bird by their evil stepmother. So anyway, it's just a stunning, quiet garden, well worth, checking out if you are in that area of Dublin. From there, I was off to Kilmainham Jail for a tour, and my guide was an absolutely fabulous storyteller. He was even able to keep the young kids on the tour entertained, which is saying something because Kilmainham Jail it's obviously a jail, right? And it has very tragic stories. He shared stories from the 1916 Easter Rising, the famine, the Irish Civil War. We walked through the big main areas. He talked about the prisoners who had been there and kind of what the living conditions were like. It was just a really, really exceptional tour. Now, if you want to visit Kilmainham Jail, I highly recommend that you pre-book your tickets. It very, very often sells out, and walk-up tickets are hard to get, especially anytime between March and October. So booking for Kilmainham Jail opens 28 days in advance of the date you want to visit. And Kilmainham Jail is an OPW heritage site. So if you plan to purchase a pass, you can pre-book at no cost. And there is information linked in the show notes so you can learn more about the OPW Heritage Program. I think it's the best deal in Ireland. Coming back into the city center, I had a little bit of a very, very late lunch and early dinner, about 5:30 p.m. And I finished my day with my absolute favorite, Murphy's ice cream, as I strolled through St. Stephen's Green on my way back to the hotel. So absolutely terrific day in Dublin, and I want to thank you for joining me as I spend 6 weeks in Ireland, traversing practically the entire country. Now, don't forget, I would love to answer your questions on the podcast. You can email your questions to Jody, Jody, at IrelandFamilyVacations.com. Just write podcast question in the subject line and be sure to let me know if I can use your first name and the first initial of your last name when I share the question. Thanks so much for listening today. Till tomorrow, Slankafol.